Hi everyone, we're here with Wordmasters Challenge. Hard to believe we are already into March, heading towards April, and we are into our last round of the Wordmasters Challenge. For this round, I'm going to have you guys do words 1 through 15, and you'll have a longer time to study them. So the homework due for Wednesday, the 12th, is to pause the video after each word and create a flashcard that has the word in the front, and on the back, the parts of speech and definitions. Okay. Rumpus. Rumpus is the first word, and it's a great way to describe a commotion or disruptive noise. I imagine that sometimes when you have a lot of your friends over, maybe like in the basement or maybe hanging out outside, some of your neighbors or even your parents might not appreciate like the rumpus that comes from downstairs or wherever you are. And for example, if you weren't a baseball fan in Boston, you may have been a little agitated around the Fenway area by the loud noise and commotion that happened when the Red Sox won. And that would be another example of a rumpus. Inveigle. Inveigle is a great word, and it's a verb, and it's to persuade by trickery or flattery. For example, in this comic, the lawyer is saying to the judge, "Before I sum up, Your Honor, I'd just like to say that you are beautiful when you're mad." So he's trying to flatter the judge by saying how beautiful she looks as a way to affect her judgment. Another example would be in Mark Twain's Tom Sawyer. Tom does not want to paint his aunt's fence. So because of that, he actually tricks other boys. And this is Tom right over here this is Tom right here getting ready to trick the other boys, saying how much fun it is. So he inveiles them into actually doing his work for him by saying how much fun it is to whitewash the fence. He even takes that kid's apple at one point. Adamantine means unbreakable. It also means unbreakable in terms of like physically unbreakable. For example, you would want a safe to be adamantine. You would want some armor to be adamantine. It could also describe the way you feel about a certain opinion. For example, a lot of you, before reading research about chocolate milk, were adamantine that it should stay in schools, that chocolate milk needs to stay in schools. Some of you may have stayed that way, but some of you may have also swayed towards realizing that it might be unhealthy. Gumption. When you say gumption basically means you got guts. If I say to you, "Hey, you know what? It took real gumption to come and tell me that you cheated on your homework," that means it takes a lot of courage and guts. You could say that it takes gumption to stand up to a bully, or it takes gumption to stand up to a teacher you might be afraid of. Commemorate. You've probably heard this word a lot, especially around ceremonies. And commemorate means to honor the memory of, or to mark by ceremony. They're both verbs. For example, many sports teams, many people in general, had patches such as this on their jerseys, on their jackets after 9/11. Many people commemorated 9/11 by putting an American flag or raising it somewhere in their house to honor what the country had been through. In the second definition, to mark by ceremony. For example, on Veterans Day, oftentimes there are parades and other events to commemorate what we have lost and to honor the veterans that have risked it all for our country. Homely. Homely is most commonly used as an adjective to describe appearance, and it typically means plain or unattractive. Now, don't think ugly. Don't think like the ugly stepsisters from Cinderella. Homely means like kind of plain looking, kind of normal. For example, this is a picture of a house. It's a nice house, but it seems kind of plain. There's nothing flashy about it. Nothing out in the landscape. Nothing about the color that grabs your attention. So that's homely. Aficionado. Aficionado is a fan or enthusiast. For example, soccer, especially European soccer fans, are known for being aficionados. They are passionate. They know everything there is about their sport. I happen to be an aficionado of refereeing. I read about it all the time. I read articles about it. I read the rule books. That's a passion of mine, kind of like a hobby. And those of you who watch the Food Network know that Guy Fieri on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, he's an aficionado of homemade, home-cooked food that is served in like kind of diner places, not necessarily fancy restaurants. Truss. Truss, be careful here because it can be used multiple ways. As a noun, it's a triangular framework used to reinforce or support. So this is an example of a truss roof. and it's set up like a triangle, very similar to a bridge. Next time you're going over a bridge, see if it's set up in a triangle like this, the whole arc of the bridge, and that will tell you if it's a truss or not. It also means, as a verb, to tie up meat. If you hear your parents saying on Thanksgiving, "Oh, we have to truss the turkey," that's what they're doing. You can see right there, they have to bind the turkey after they put the stuffing in, and that allows it all to kind of hold together while it's cooking. Imminent. Imminent is an adjective, and it means likely to happen soon or impending. For example, if you were driving towards this cloud right here, you would probably assume that there's an imminent threat of a snowstorm or a rainstorm. On this picture, these little birds right here appear to be in imminent danger of the lion that's waiting to grab them for a snack. Gourmet. Gourmet is an adjective, is expensive or rare. So this is an example of what would be considered like a high-priced gourmet meal at a restaurant. And as a noun, it's someone who is an expert on food. So if you are a gourmet, it means you're an expert on food. Ted Allen, who hosts the show Chopped, one of my personal favorites on the Food Network, is considered a gourmet. Beguile. Beguile means to trick or delude, in other words, like deceive. Very similar to inveigle. The only difference is we're not adding flattery here. So here's a girl getting ready to beguile maybe her younger brother or older sister with a bucket of water on the door. And it can also be used in reference to cheating. You may beguile the teacher by having the notes on your hand while you're taking the test. Not to give you any ideas. Languid. Languid is going to be the perfect description for you guys after the long comp in a couple weeks. It's an adjective, and it means lacking in energy, indifferent, slow, and sluggish. Very similar to indolent. And here's an example of a polar bear. Maybe it's a hot day at the zoo, just feeling kind of languid. And it can also just mean like tired. Like, for example, sometimes when it's just so hot out in the summer, not that I'm complaining because I want the warm weather now, but you just get so exhausted from being out there that you just have no energy left, and that's where you'd use languid. Sanctuary is a noun. It's a place of refuge or protection where people are safe from punishment by law. Very often, churches are considered sanctuaries. They're places where people are safe and protected. Impinge, as a verb, it means to impact, affect, or make an impression. Let's say in baseball you got hit on the arm with a fastball. That ball may impinge your skin and result in a bruise. If you tend to spend a lot of time on one spot on the couch, like this gentleman right here, you may impinge the couch and leave a nice dent in there. Not that I know anything about that. It also means, very similar to previous words, to encroach or infringe. If you impinge on somebody's rights, if you impinge on somebody's property, it's the same idea. Saline is an adjective and a noun. And when you think saline, just look at the front of the sentence. Saline, think salt. As an adjective, it means of or containing or resembling common table salt. So you would describe something that's saline. For example, you may describe the saline air at a saltwater beach. As a noun, it also means a mixture of salt and water. It's usually used for cleaning purposes. This is a brand of saline solution from Equate that you would use to clean your contact lenses. Okay, don't forget, due for Wednesday, pause the video after each word and create a flashcard. Make sure the flashcard has the word on one side and on the back of the card, the parts of speech and definitions. And I will see you then. Take care.